Our world, this magnificent, sprawling sphere of life and history, holds countless stories within its lands. Some are told in great detail, etched into stone and passed down through generations. But others are mere whispers, fragments of a past that defy our understanding. Today, we embark on a journey not to the familiar landmarks of our history books, but to the very edge of what we know. We will travel across continents and millennia, exploring mysteries that have puzzled the greatest minds for centuries. These are not tales of myth or folklore, but tangible enigmas, grounded in physical evidence. Mummies in a desert where they should not be, machines of impossible complexity, and cities that vanished without a trace. The images and footage we will see are here to add a sense of place, to give form to these ancient puzzles. But they are not essential. The true journey is one of the imagination, a voyage of sound and story. So I invite you to find a comfortable space, to let the noise of the modern world recede. Allow your mind to become a vessel, ready to be filled with the wonders and questions of our shared and often bewildering human story. This is a journey for the curious, for those who look at the past and see not just answers, but a vast, thrilling expanse of the unknown. Settle in and let us begin. Our first destination takes us to the vast, arid expanse of the Tarim Basin in western China, a place one might expect to hold secrets of ancient Eastern dynasties. Yet, what was unearthed here in the early 20th century defied all expectation. Mummified bodies, thousands of years old, preserved not by elaborate ritual, but by the dry, salty earth itself. But the true mystery lies not in their preservation, but in their appearance. They had long, reddish-blonde hair, high-bridged noses, and deep-set eyes, features not of Asia, but of Western Eurasia. Who were these people so far from their ancestral homes? They were buried with artifacts that only deepen the puzzle. Intricately woven woolen textiles, far more advanced than anything known in China at the time, adorned their bodies. Their graves contained items suggesting a life of both pastoral skill and trade, a blend of cultures that seems almost impossible for its time. These silent figures, such as the beauty of Lulan, challenge our very understanding of early human migration and contact. They are a question written in flesh and bone. How did these European-looking people arrive, thrive, and ultimately vanish in the heart of Asia, long before the Silk Road was thought to exist? From the deserts of Asia, we journey across the Pacific to the lush landscapes of western El Salvador. Here, near the ancient settlement of Chalchuapa, lies the evidence of a terrible, forgotten conflict. In the 1960s, archaeologists uncovered a scene of immense violence dating back some 2,500 years. A thick layer of volcanic ash had perfectly preserved the aftermath of a large-scale battle. Skeletons lay where they fell, many bearing the marks of horrific injuries from obsidian-bladed weapons and projectile points. Fortifications were torn down, buildings burned to the ground. The sheer scale of the destruction points to a significant, decisive event, a clash that must have shaped the region's history. And yet, there is a profound silence surrounding it. No written record, no oral tradition, no mention in the rich tapestry of Mayan mythology speaks of this brutal war. Who were the combatants? Was it a civil war, a foreign invasion, or something else entirely? The earth itself is the only witness, offering a vivid tableau of the battle's final moments, but no clue as to the identity of the armies or the cause for which they fought and died so violently. We now travel to the cradle of European civilization, the Greek island of Crete. In 1908, within the ruins of the Minoan palace of Phaistos, Italian archaeologist Luigi Pernier found something unique. It was a small, unassuming disc of fired clay, no larger than a dinner plate. But pressed into its surface, spiraling towards the center, was a series of intricate symbols, a language unlike any other. Over 240 characters, including depictions of a plumed head, a ship, a bee, and a shield, form a message that has resisted every attempt at decipherment for over a century. What story does this disc tell? Is it a hymn, a legal document, a list of soldiers, or perhaps even a primitive form of printing with each symbol stamped individually? Scholars have debated its origin and purpose endlessly. The symbols are not Cretan, suggesting it may have been an import from a yet unknown civilization. Its linear spiraling arrangement is almost unique in the ancient world. The Phaistos disc remains a perfect cryptographic challenge, a single isolated message from the Bronze Age, its meaning locked away, tantalizingly close yet completely out of reach. It is a voice from the past that we can see but cannot hear. In the year 1900, sponge divers exploring a Roman-era shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera made a startling find. Amidst statues and pottery, they recovered a lump of corroded bronze. At first, it was really just overlooked, but as the calcified layers were slowly removed, a breathtaking piece of technology was revealed. It turned out to be a complex system of interlocking gears and dials, a device of such sophistication that, honestly, nothing comparable would be seen again for over 1,000 years. This, the Antikythera mechanism, has been called the world's first analog computer. Modern imaging techniques have revealed its true genius. It was, in fact, an astronomical calculator of extraordinary precision, capable of predicting the positions of the sun, moon, and planets, tracking the phases of the moon, and even predicting eclipses. It could also track the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. The question is not what it did, but how it was possible. How could a civilization, over 2,000 years ago, possess the mathematical and engineering knowledge to create such a device? Who was the forgotten genius behind its design, and what other technological wonders of the ancient world have been lost to the depths of time? Our journey now leads us to a mystery bound in vellum, a book that has defied codebreakers, linguists, and scholars for centuries, the Voynich Manuscript. Housed at Yale University, this codex is filled with elegant, flowing script written in an unknown language or code. No one has ever been able to translate a single word. Its pages are adorned with hundreds of strange illustrations, adding yet another layer of enigma. There are drawings of fantastical plants that match no known species, astronomical charts of bizarre zodiacs, and peculiar biological diagrams featuring naked figures bathing in green, interconnected pools. Carbon dated to the early 15th century, the manuscript has a documented history of perplexing its owners, including the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II. Is it the lost language of a forgotten people, an elaborate hoax designed to swindle a wealthy patron, or the work of a lone genius recording esoteric knowledge in a private code? Every attempt at decipherment, including those using modern artificial intelligence, has failed. The Voynich manuscript remains a beautiful, frustrating, and utterly silent artifact, a testament to the fact that some secrets are so well kept they may never be revealed. We travel now to the arid coastal plains of southern Peru, where one of the world's most staggering mysteries is etched into the very surface of the Earth. These are the Nazca Lines, a vast collection of giant geoglyphs created by the ancient Nazca culture between 500 BC and 500 AD. Spanning over 170 square miles, these designs range from simple lines and geometric shapes to enormous, stylized depictions of animals. A spider, a hummingbird, a monkey, a condor. Their scale is immense, with some figures stretching hundreds of feet across, making them fully visible only from the air. This, of course, is the central puzzle. How did the Nazca people, without the benefit of flight, design and execute these massive figures with such precision? And more importantly, why? Were they astronomical calendars, pathways for religious processions, or perhaps offerings to mountain deities who could look down upon them from above? Some have even speculated they were messages for extraterrestrial visitors. The dry, windless climate has preserved these enigmatic drawings for nearly 2 millennia. a silent, sprawling art gallery in the desert, their purpose as mysterious as their creation. From the tangible world of geoglyphs, we move to the realm of ancient texts, to a document that blurs the line between history and myth, the Sumerian king list. Discovered in modern-day Iraq, this clay tablet, written in cuneiform, purports to be a comprehensive record of the rulers of Sumer. It lists kings, their cities, and the lengths of their reigns. It begins, plausibly enough, with rulers whose existence is supported by archaeological evidence. But as one reads back into the distant past, the list takes a fantastical turn. The earlier kings are credited with reigns of impossible longevity. One ruler, Enmenlu-Ana, is said to have reigned for 43,200 years. Another, Alu-Lim, for 28,800 years. The list also describes a great flood, a deluge that wiped the slate clean, after which kingship was sent down from on high once more, with subsequent reigns becoming progressively shorter and more human-scaled. Is this a simple mythological account, a symbolic representation of power and divine right? Or could it be a corrupted historical record where numbers held a different, symbolic meaning? The Sumerian king list forces us to question how ancient peoples perceived their own history and the nature of time itself. Let us journey to the lands of modern-day Pakistan and northwest India, to the site of one of the world's great early urban civilizations. The Indus Valley Civilization, contemporaneous with ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, was remarkably advanced. By 2500 BC, they had built sophisticated, well-planned cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, complete with grid-like streets, advanced sanitation systems, and impressive brick architecture. They had a standardized system of weights and measures, engaged in long-distance trade, and developed a complex written script that, to this day, remains undeciphered. For nearly 1,000 years, this civilization flourished across a vast area. And then, around 1900 BC, it began to decline. The great cities were gradually abandoned, the writing system disappeared, and the unified culture fragmented. What caused the collapse of this mighty society? There is no evidence of a massive invasion or a single catastrophic event. Theories abound. A gradual shift in climate that disrupted agriculture, the changing course of the Indus River, an epidemic, or perhaps a breakdown in trade. The truth is, we simply do not know. The people of the Indus Valley built a world of order and ingenuity, only to vanish from history, leaving their silent cities as their only testament. We now sail north to the age of the Vikings, a time of fierce warriors and legendary sagas. Among the thousands of swords recovered from this period, a special group stands out. They are blades of exceptionally high quality, strength, and flexibility, far superior to most contemporary weapons. These swords are inscribed with a single name, plus Vilefber plus T. The Ulfbert swords were the superweapons of their day, forged from crucible steel with a high carbon content, a material that was thought to be unknown in Europe until the Industrial Revolution. The mystery is twofold. First, who or what was Ulfbert? Was it the name of a single legendary mastersmith, or a trademark used by a workshop of elite craftsmen? Second, and more puzzling, is the question of the metal itself. The high-purity steel required to make these blades was not produced in Europe at the time. The closest source was Central Asia, along the Volga trade routes. Did the Vikings trade for these precious ingots of wood steel to be forged by their own masters in Scandinavia? The Ulfbert swords represent a perplexing link between cultures and a level of metallurgical technology that was honestly centuries ahead of its time. Our next enigma is an object of profound faith and, honestly, intense scientific scrutiny, housed in the Cathedral of Turin, Italy. It is the Shroud of Turin, a long linen cloth that bears the faint, sepia-toned image of a crucified man. For millions, this is the authentic burial cloth of Jesus of Nazareth, bearing the miraculous imprint of his body. The image is a photographic negative, a detail not discovered until it was first photographed in 1898. It shows a man with wounds consistent with the biblical account of the crucifixion, including marks from a crown of thorns, scourging, and nails in the wrists and feet. The debate over its authenticity has raged for decades. In 1988, radiocarbon dating of a small sample placed the cloth's origin in the Middle Ages, between 1260 and 1390. Yet, proponents of its authenticity challenged the validity of that test, pointing to possible contamination of the sample. They argue that the image itself possesses properties that cannot be replicated even with modern technology, suggesting it was created by a process we do not understand. Is the Shroud of Turin a masterful medieval forgery? Or is it a genuine artifact that defies scientific explanation? It remains one of the most contentious and deeply personal mysteries in the world. We journey back to the Roman Empire, a realm of military might and, well, meticulous record-keeping. It is this very attention to detail that makes the fate of the Legio IX Hispana, the Ninth Legion, so mysterious. This seasoned legion, with a long and storied history, was last definitively recorded in Britain in the year 108 AD, stationed at what is now York. After that, it simply vanishes from all official Roman records. No muster rolls, no battle reports, no mention of its disbandment. An entire legion of some 5,000 elite soldiers seemingly disappeared. The popular theory, long held, was that the Ninth was wiped out in a catastrophic battle with the northern tribes of Caledonia, what is now Scotland. This presumed disaster was said to be the reason Emperor Hadrian built his famous wall. However, more recent archaeological finds suggest fragments of the legion may have been serving elsewhere in the empire, such as in the Netherlands, long after its supposed annihilation in Britain. Did the legion suffer a devastating defeat from which its name was erased in shame? Or was it broken up and its cohorts reassigned, its identity slowly fading from the records? The silence in the Roman archives is deafening, leaving the ultimate fate of the Ninth Legion a puzzle for historians. We find ourselves on one of the most isolated inhabited places on Earth, Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, famous for its monumental moai statues. But the island holds another, perhaps more profound mystery. It is a system of writing known as Rongorongo found, inscribed on a few dozen wooden tablets and artifacts. This script consists of elegant pictographic glyphs, birds, fish, plants, and geometric shapes. If confirmed as a true writing system, it would be one of the few instances of writing being invented independently in human history. Tragically, by the time explorers took an interest in the script in the 19th century, the knowledge of how to read it had been lost. Disease, slave raids, and cultural upheaval had decimated the Rapa Nui population, and the last of the literate elders died without passing on their secret. What stories do these tablets tell? Are they genealogies, ritual chants, or creation myths? Deciphering Rongorongo could unlock the secrets of the island's past, explaining the rise and fall of the society that carved the moai. For now, the glyphs remain mute, a beautiful and, honestly, frustrating reminder of a lost world of knowledge. In the collections of the National Museum of Iraq lies a set of artifacts that, well, really challenge our timeline of technological discovery. Discovered in the 1930s near Baghdad, these objects, dating back some 2,000 years to the Parthian period, are deceptively simple. Each consists of a terracotta pot, a copper cylinder, and an iron rod. When the pot is filled with an acidic liquid, like vinegar or grape juice, this arrangement produces a small but steady electrical current. These have become known as the Baghdad batteries. But what were they used for? Skeptics argue they were simply storage vessels for sacred scrolls, with the metal components having a different, non-electrical purpose. Proponents, however, suggest they could have been used for electroplating, applying thin layers of gold or silver onto other objects. Others propose they were used in healing rituals or to create a tingling sensation to impress worshippers in a temple. With no written records describing their use, we are left to speculate. Could our ancient ancestors have harnessed the power of electricity, not for light or power, but for subtle, forgotten purposes? Our path now takes us to 12th century England, to the village of Woolpit in Suffolk, and a story recorded by two contemporary chroniclers. According to the tale, villagers discovered two children, a boy and a girl, wandering near one of the wolf pits that gave the village its name. They were dressed in strange clothes, spoke an unknown language, and most remarkably, their skin had a distinct green hue. They were taken in by a local landowner, but refused all food except for raw broad beans. The boy, sadly, grew sick and died, but the girl eventually adapted. She learned to eat other foods, her green skin faded to a normal complexion, and she learned to speak English. She claimed they came from a subterranean land called St. Martin's Land, a place of perpetual twilight where all the inhabitants were green. She said they had been herding their father's cattle when they heard a loud noise, followed a river of light, and emerged in Woolpit. Is this a bizarre folktale, a garbled account of immigrant Flemish children, or perhaps a symbolic story about an encounter with the other? The tale of the green children of Woolpit remains a charming and utterly baffling medieval mystery. High in the Andes above Cusco, Peru, lies the ancient complex of Sacsayhuaman. While often described as a fortress, its true purpose remains debated. But the real mystery is not its function, but its construction. The site is famous for its massive zigzagging outer walls, built from enormous stones. Some of these boulders weigh over 100 tons, the size of small cars, and are quarried from miles away. They are fitted together with such astonishing precision that not even a single sheet of paper can be inserted between them. The Inca, who completed the structure in the 15th century, had no draft animals, no wheeled vehicles, and no iron tools. How did they quarry, transport, and lift these colossal stones? And how did they shape them into complex, interlocking polygonal shapes that fit together perfectly? Inca legend speaks of a special plant liquid that could soften stone, while others speculate about forgotten acoustic or levitation technologies. More conventional theories involve immense manpower and meticulous trial and error. Whatever the method, the walls of Sacsayhuaman stand as a testament to an engineering prowess that we still cannot fully comprehend. In 1929, a remarkable document was rediscovered in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul. It was a map, drawn on gazelle skin in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral and cartographer named Piri Reis. The map shows the coasts of Europe, North Africa, and Brazil with, well, reasonable accuracy. But it is the other parts of the map that have sparked intense controversy. It appears to depict islands and coastlines of the Americas that were not yet explored by Europeans, and, most contentiously, a landmass at the southern edge that strongly resembles a pre-ice sheet Antarctica. Piri Reis himself wrote in the map's margin that he had compiled it from around 20 source maps, including some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great, and one captured from Christopher Columbus. Could these source maps have contained knowledge from a forgotten, ancient seafaring civilization that had mapped the globe long before the Age of Discovery? Or is the resemblance to Antarctica simply a coincidence, a fanciful depiction of the then hypothesized Terra Australis Incognita? The Piri Reis map is, honestly, a cartographic conundrum, hinting at a knowledge of the world that should not have existed in the 16th century. We journey to the city of Strasbourg in the summer of 1518 to witness one of the most bizarre episodes in European history. It began with a single woman, Frau Trophea, who stepped into the street and began to dance. She didn't stop. Within a week, 36 others had joined her. Within a month, the number of compulsive dancers had swelled to around 400. They danced day and night, seemingly without rest, in the city's streets and squares. Civic and religious leaders were absolutely baffled. At first, believing it was caused by hot blood, they encouraged the dancing, even clearing open spaces and hiring musicians, hoping the afflicted would dance the fever out of their systems. But as dozens began to die from exhaustion, heart attacks, and strokes, the strategy was reversed. The event is well documented in civic and clerical records. What could cause such a phenomenon? Theories range from ergot poisoning, a fungus that grows on rye and can cause spasms and hallucinations, to a case of mass psychogenic illness, or mass hysteria, brought on by the extreme famine and disease of the period. The true cause remains a chilling and surreal historical puzzle. Our journey now takes a darker, more modern turn to a hillside in Niterói, Brazil, in August of 1966. A young boy flying a kite stumbled upon a grim scene. The bodies of two men lying side by side. They were identified as Manuel Pereira da Cruz and Miguel José Viana, two electronics technicians from a nearby town. They were dressed in smart suits and waterproof coats. Most strangely, each man was wearing a crude, homemade lead mask over his eyes, the kind one might use for protection against radiation. The scene was, well, perplexing. There were no signs of a struggle or obvious injury. Next to the bodies was a small notebook containing a cryptic message. 1630B at the specified location. 1830 ingest capsules. After the effect, protect metals, await mask signal. An empty water bottle and 2 wet towels were also found. Autopsies failed to determine a cause of death. Had they been poisoned by the capsules? Were they members of a UFO cult attempting to contact aliens? Or had a scientific experiment gone terribly wrong? The lead masks case is a true crime mystery that feels like it was lifted from the pages of science fiction. We travel to a cold February morning in 1855 in the county of Devon, England. As residents awoke to a fresh blanket of snow, they discovered something inexplicable. A single line of hoof-like tracks stretched for over 100 miles across the landscape. The strange prints, about 4 inches long and 3 inches across, were in a single file, as if made by a bipedal creature. They went over rooftops, through haystacks, and across the frozen River Exe. They even appeared to go in and out of small drain pipes only a few inches in diameter. Panic and speculation gripped the region. Many believed the tracks were left by the devil himself, wandering the countryside. More rational explanations were proposed, from badgers and otters to a bizarre weather phenomenon, or even an escaped experimental balloon trailing an anchor. None of these theories, however, can adequately explain the sheer distance covered, the single-file nature of the tracks, or their ability to traverse seemingly impossible obstacles. The event was meticulously documented in local newspapers, but a definitive explanation was never found. The devil's footprints remain a chilling and unexplained phenomenon. Our final mystery takes us to the remote, sparsely populated taiga of Siberia on the morning of June 30th, 1908. At around 7:17 a.m., a colossal explosion, estimated to be 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima, occurred over the Podkamennaya Tunguska River. The blast flattened over 80 million trees across an area of 830 square miles. It was heard and felt hundreds of miles away, and for several nights afterwards, the sky across Asia and Europe glowed with an eerie light. Remarkably, due to the remote location, there were no official records of human casualties. When the first scientific expedition finally reached the area nearly 2 decades later, they found a scene of utter devastation, but no impact crater. This is the heart of the Tunguska mystery. What could cause such a massive explosion without leaving a crater? The leading theory is the airburst of a meteoroid or comet fragment, which disintegrated several miles above the ground. Other, more fringe theories have proposed everything from a black hole passing through the Earth to an accident involving an alien spacecraft. The Tunguska event remains the largest impact event in recent history, a stark reminder of the cosmic forces that can intersect with our world. We have journeyed far, from the silent mummies of China to the explosive enigma of Siberia. And as our journey concludes, we are left not with answers, but with a profound sense of wonder. It is a humbling reminder that the story of humanity is a book with many missing pages. For every event recorded and understood, there are countless others that lie just beyond our grasp, their truths eroded by time or hidden in plain sight. These unsolved mysteries are not failures of history, but invitations to keep searching, to keep questioning. They are the gaps in our knowledge where imagination and curiosity can thrive. The past is not a static, finished thing. It is a living, breathing entity that shifts and changes with every new discovery. The search for answers to these puzzles continues in laboratories, libraries, and at remote archaeological sites across the globe. Perhaps one day a newly found artifact, a deciphered script, or a revolutionary scientific technique will provide the key to one of these enigmas, rewriting a chapter of our collective story. Until then, the greatest adventure lies in the pursuit of knowledge itself, in the endless and thrilling quest to understand who we were and therefore who we are.